If you can hear any noise in the background, that's Shug getting dressed. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to my channel for another Wednesday evening live, and something a bit different tonight. Well, it's not different. It's going to be colouring, but it's a new technique. Bit of a backstory to it. Yesterday, I was up at Dale's, having a play with his new sandblasting thing, which was quite interesting. And then I stayed for a wee while, and he was getting new cameras sorted for his for around the lathe area. And Scott was busy tidying up the cables and everything. I had a handful of cable ties, which I was just wafting about in the air. And I thought to myself, that could look good as a painting technique. So I thought, I wonder what would happen if I put some of these in a drill. And then Andy said, you could fit some small ones into a Dremel. So I had a play today. The Dremel didn't work very well because the lowest speed on the Dremel is 5,000 revs. But the Fortiflex, I can get that quite low. So I'm either going to use the Fortiflex to do this tonight, or I'm going to use the drill. But either way, it's a pretty interesting effect. Drilly! And on that note, I'll bring the guys in. So tonight we've got right. You might notice we have got Mark with some letters after his name. Mark has just been awarded his RPT. That is Register of Professional Turners. Unlike me, who's an RPT. And we've got Truffle Shuggle. Yeah, well, I did on Saturday night. I can't really say it on Wednesday night. But we've got Truffle Shuggle, who was complaining beforehand about the facial hair on everybody, so he decided to put his beard on. And we've got Andrew, the Hobbit Rides again. So they're going to be keeping me up to date with what's going on in the chat and everything else, and keeping everybody entertained while I get on and do some turning. Oh, I better change camera. There we are. So tonight we've got a piece of sycamore on the lathe, which again, it's probably about 2.5 inches deep, which it is. It's probably about 12 inches across, which it is. So we'll get on and do some turning, and the guys can let me know what's happening out there in Chatland.
That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? You'll have to bear with me just 2 seconds, mate. That just sound like a plan.
Why is your getting in the way?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it all out of my mouth, mate. Gonk fur is not particularly tasty or accommodating. Right, let's have a look. Who is in the chat? When it catches up. Don't ever press participants and expect it to do something in a hurry, eh? Right, from the top, we've got Bailey Woodworks. Hiya, Chris. We've got Barry Chitty, Billy Brown, Brian with a Y, Chris Glanville, Doug Miller at Woodspun Round. We've got Mark, the Gentleman Woodturner. We've got Gerard Le French Turner. Yeah. I did it. I did that one. We got James Crawford. The real bona fide Jennifer's Crafting Creations. We've got Mr. Jim Spalding. We've got Robert Klingspor Abrasives. Martin Ford. Norman Greenwell. Paul Hoyton, the Greasby Turner. A new name for you here, Stark's Woodturning. Haven't seen that one before. We've got the ever lovely Susie Swiss Woodturner. Turning Time Creations. You ready, JP?
Yeah.
We've got the man himself, Mr. Ward Wilson.
This is whole other country.
Yeah, man. We've got, obviously, we've got Wayne in. You can see him from here. And we've also got Mark's heckler, YV Woodshed.
Not my heckler, he's my roadie.
No, he's your heckler. Trust me. We've just got to find the right tipple to give him, and he'll be heckling you. You've also got Woodwork Learner in, and slipping in through the side door, we've got Katie, Cornish Maid, and Andy, the Valley Woodturner, Bundy Row, who has on his size 10 Doc Martin boots and has already kicked me in the spud several times today.
He has.
Royally kicked me in the spuds.
Both privately and publicly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Right,
looks
just
like
like
Easy
that.
Wood. Yeah, it looks like Easy Wood Tools are now handing out bags of spuds with the #1 hollower.
That's not a bad idea.
Stark's Woodworking is asking, what are you turning today, Wayne?
Right, this is going to be a basic dish, not a bowl because it's not deep enough. Basic dish from Sycamore, which is going to be the underside. It'll just be finished with sand and sealer, Yorkshire grit, and wax. But the top will be, I'll be using ebonizing lacquer, probably Joe Sonia's iridescence, and a different technique for applying the paints. Just because I can.
Lucy's in as well. Lucy's in as well, and she says, and I quote, "I'm the spud kicker that posted." Yes, I know you're the spud kicker that posted, but Andrew was taking great delight in, shall we say, unsheathing that tool very slowly. Several photos, yes.
It worked well. It was like a slow-mo in pictures.
It was. John Hayes is in, and he's asking, when putting together multiple different types of woods glued, how does all the wood stay together whilst turning?
Because you use a very
Glue.
good glue, and a hell of a lot of people who do segmented turning tend to use Type 1-3.
And make sure you don't squeeze it together too tight so you don't squeeze all the glue out.
Laurie Sabirai's joined us as well, and so has Woodworm Paul. Evening,
Hello.
Pete's.
Hello.
Good evening.
Lucy says he has bigger hands than me and makes it look better. I'm saying nothing.
Yeah,
It's not
me neither.
It's not Saturday. Tez Johnson's in and says thanks to the gentleman Woodturner for replying to the email, and he's added you to the list.
Oh, thank you, Tez. That's very nice.
Is that a
I
new
hope you
name?
don't
I
need
don't recognise that name.
It is. I hope you don't need me, but if you do, give me a shout. I know that sounds
Oh,
cryptic.
there's a bloody great
It's not-
crack in here
it's
that
not
I haven't
really.
noticed before.
That's
Oh,
cracking.
Just as well as it's just a demo piece.
It's just a demo
Don't
piece.
worry
you
about
know.
it, mate. Give it a CA finish.
Oh my! Be still, my beating heart. You know, that's stressful enough day.
Don't worry, Mark. It won't be long, and you'll be doing CA finishes. Little
Yeah,
bird
that's
stop.
funny you say
Mark's
that.
already got a discount code for you.
When you say that,
Oh no! Lucy said she also got a chocolate orange Toblerone. Oh dear.
There you
And
go.
also
That's what
Tonic
we got.
On is in.
So good
Jennifer
they
says,
named her twice. Yeah.
Jennifer Mudd says that Mark Stoughton says hello. Hello, Mark, babe.
Hello, babes.
Hey, babes.
Hello, Mark. Katie said Chris G made a beautiful bedside lamp from oak and oak fir.
Woodwork Learner said, did everyone order the Black Friday off on the #1 hollower? You didn't.
No,
No, he didn't.
Get after it, Wayne. That's one way to get under the crack.
yeah. A lot deeper than
This
than
dish is
where I'm
going to end up
turning.
being a plate.
No, I'm going to leave the crack. It's going to end up just being a demo piece, so I am just going to leave the crack. A lot of people do ask about how do you decide on doing something like this? How do you decide on what size foot you put on? Now, if it's going to be something that is going to be usable rather than decorative, I tend to go for a third of the diameter as the foot. If it's going to be something that's purely decorative, you can actually go a hell of a lot smaller because it doesn't matter about stuff getting put in it and getting tipped over and stuff like that.
JP, Mark
Yeah.
L's in.
Can you see me?
Good lad. That was quick. That was quick. Bill Miller's in as well. Hello, Bill.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Where's it gone?
No, that crack's still there.
John Hayes is asking, does wood only warp when wet to dry?
Right.
I'm going to say no.
It
The
really
reason I'm
all
gonna
depends.
say- The reason I'm going to say no
Go
is I made something for Shug, and the piece of ash I used was bone dry, and I put resin into it, and it warped like you wouldn't believe. It's warped in two directions.
It did
It
indeed.
really all depends on obviously how dry the wood is, but it really all depends on the humidity in the person's house that the piece is going to as well. There was, I can't remember his name now, but Country Wood Girl was in one of my lives, or a couple of months ago this was, I think, and we were talking about this. And she was saying that the wood that she uses, she's a cabinet maker, and the wood that she uses, they try and get down to around about 8%. And even that will move when it goes into somebody's house, depending on the humidity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Wood's a
acclimatise
natural.
it, don't you?
Wood is a natural product, even over the. If you build a piece of furniture, even over centuries, it will still move, given the different seasons.
Usually when someone hoovers around it, Mark.
Yeah.
Bill Miller from Missouri is in.
Hello, Phil.
Woodwork Learner says that crack is Mark's fault.
Yeah, that's true.
Why is it Mark's fault?
Everything's my
And
fault. Everything's my fault.
Absolutely.
and Ward Wilson said, Jamie, it's only matching Shug's personality. Warped. Very warped.
Very warped.
Well done, Ward.
Yes, I've just seen the comment, mate. Yeah, I will do.
Rob said they get the problem with paperback belts as well. Things that very dry warp and grow. Big problem with paperback belts. Right, okay. Interesting to know. I need to order some for the Sorbet. I was going to do it last week and kind of got sidetracked.
That's not like
Not much, eh?
you.
He has to sidetrack when he walks into his workshop because he can't go in straight.
Chuck
Oh.
and Cornish pasty. Well known.
Oh, a squirrel.
Exactly.
Woodwork Learner says, I wish we'd move properly when I use a skew. I don't use a skew very often, mate, unless I'm actually using it as a parting off tool most of the time. Rob said, side tractors in a new bottle of rum arrived, possibly, or a new tool.
There you go.
Should I do something about that crack or not?
Nah.
Nah, it'll be all right.
No, I'll be fine. Right, just get me finishing cut done. This is a freshly sharpened gouge. This is my 1/4 inch Sorby gouge.
2 chat questions for you, Wayne. First one.
Yeah.
How heavy is that platter?
Heavy, I've got no idea.
He's got no idea. And Alan Gibb is asking, Wayne, does it happen on bigger pieces rather than small?
No, what tends to happen if you're turning something small, you do tend to turn it thinner than big pieces. So it will happen on small pieces as well. Now I showed a prime example of how wood moves on Saturday night. I can show you that piece again if you like.
I've actually got a piece of yours here, Wayne. That big platter that you done me.
Yeah.
And that has got a phenomenal warp in it. Do you remember when you come down and you said how much it had moved?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a phenomenal warp in that. So I'll get Jamie to flash that up in a minute.
As soon as I finish this cut, I'll change camera.
Yeah.
So
No
you can
problem,
actually
mate.
show it. There we are.
And breathe.
That really is as warped as that looks.
I think, to tell you the truth, Doug, I think that came from the same batch that this one came from.
Mm-hmm.
It's a banana
So
bowl.
I'll change camera.
I think you've done
So
that on
that
purpose.
is.
Holy moly!
So I turned this on a live a few months ago and then put it to one side to return. And actually, this bit here is, as well as warping down the way, it's actually slipped underneath this other piece as well. So that is well warped. That is.
That's actually unusual. I've never seen it go like that before.
Yeah, it's good. I was going to be sending that down to Jamie so he could finish it off and do some resin. But I don't think that's going to work anymore.
Can you imagine how much resin that'd take to fill?
Mark L said, so you wasn't going for a corkscrew, Wayne?
No. Right then. Get this sanded. So I'm using my Klingspor net abrasives on this, starting off at 80.
Yeah, man.
Malcolm
Copper Hour
joined,
Woodturning.
hello.
Yeah, and so has Donna Love Angel. Hello, peoples.
Katie says, let's do the time warp again.
It's just a jump to the left. And then a step to the right. Put your hands on your hips. Right, John Hayes is asking, so the question is, how would you on purpose make a warp shape bowl?
Use wet wood. Use wet wood. Turn it fairly thin. Put it to one side and let us do its thing. It worked. To tell you the truth, one of the best types of wood to do it with are very wet burrs, whether it's oak, whether it's elm, ash, holly. If you can get a decent burr that's very wet, turn that thin, give it a finish, and just put it to one side and just let it do its thing.
Try Yogi Burr after he comes out the pond. That was a dad joke.
That was really bad.
That was a bad dad joke as well.
It was, wasn't it?
Martin Ford is
Found
saying
him.
the warping is a... He's got it, Brushy!
Hey!
Martin Ford says the warping is a great feature. It's along the line of what the Japanese call wabi-sabi. I have no idea if that's real or whether Martin Ford's just pulling my leg, but
I think
I'll take that. I'll take that as read.
Now we're using
Sounds like
condensation
that thing
starter.
that Fred Flintstone says.
I thought that was Wilma!
Sorry about that. I had a phone call.
I guess that one.
Mark,
Phone going.
Mark, you don't say. You should have muted yourself, mate. That was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
mute myself. I checked twice. Been caught
Wipe
out like
off
that
the
before. With dudes in. Hello, Stephen.
Hello,
Hello,
Stephen.
mate.
How you doing?
Stick on some Yorkshire grit,
Yeah, that's the one.
covered in paint.
Hands that feel pity can be as soft as your face. With light brown, Yorkshire gritty. Do it for Yorkshire! Oh, God.
Rookie mistake. Andrew, don't ever do anything dodgy while Jamie's around. Because he'll record you and you won't even know. Ever.
Well,
The
that
thing
was when I
is,
was editing his videos.
yeah, but the thing is, Andrew didn't even realise he had the camera on.
No, Jamie was editing my videos at the time, and I was just, waiting for the microcrystalline or whatever to go off, and I was just messing around, and I picked it up, and just totally forgot. Obviously, he downloaded all the footage. A couple of weeks later, and that came out. I was like, well,
Yeah. Booted in your spuds, didn't he, mate?
Chuck, have you seen that? Ward
Yeah.
Wilson said, Chuck, what do the movies Titanic and Sixth Sense have in common? I'm going to guess that neither of them have #1 followers like you.
Martin Ford said he's not pulling my leg, it's the acceptance of transience and imperfection. All right, okay.
Oh,
Well, I
there
will
you go.
take it as read then. I'll accept that answer.
Brian Green's in. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Brighton.
Hello, mate.
How you doing?
Oh, dear. What are we going to do when I get a #1 follower, lads?
Well,
won't.
by the time 2025 comes around, we might have moved on.
Moved on. Moving on. Moving on.
And by the time you get one, everyone else would have had one. We would be starting on another tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll all be selling them. I'll pick one up cheap.
And also, by 2025, you might have a, clean workshop.
Yeah.
Rob said, I made a massive mistake of showing our 3 tech guys a video about sanding sealer and Yorkshire grit. I lost the will to live after about 45 minutes of them arguing and didn't. Oh, my internet has gone off. Ah. I'm going to look into that Martin's has put there because that's quite interesting. It's about incorporating the imperfection into the design. Nice. I'll have a look at that.
The Japanese do that, didn't they? If they break something, it's called kintsugi.
Kintsugi, and they highlight it with gold leaf.
That's
Highlight
it,
the
yeah.
crack,
Mm.
highlight the breaks and the cracks.
It's like a pottery technique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, here we go. Mark L said, sounds like you'll start kicking Mark about CA finishing. Well, this is an ongoing spud kick. It's been around now a few years, Mark, hasn't it?
Couple of
It
years.
has.
Yeah.
At least.
Worse next week.
Almost as funny as Oak Island.
Oh,
Never. Nothing is ever as funny as Oak Island. Even though you had to be there to appreciate the full
Oh, you
flavour
did.
of the rant.
I
You
did, Ward. I did, Ward, see the answer, but Mark had crippled me with his answer, I'm afraid. He properly kicked the legs out from underneath me with that. I was
Yeah, sorry,
spud
Ward.
kicked galore.
I didn't mean to hijack your joke, but it was too It was too funny not to.
There you go. Woodwork Learner's got it. He says, it's all right, Huey. We incorporate you into our viewing. Thanks, mate. I think.
Wayne, just a reminder, before you get into the flow, don't hollow this out, because you're colouring it.
Okay.
I know when you're like,
Okay.
3 minutes from now, you'll have this thing hollowed out.
And Tim from TF Turning's joined us as well. Hello, Tim.
How you
Hello,
doing?
Tim.
Tim, I found your sticker today. It's hidden in one of my pockets.
I think I've put Tim's up already because he sent me his a while ago.
Well, I've got a very bright yellow cabinet in my workshop now, which needs to be dulled down with stickers.
John Hayes is asking, Wayne, what's your opinion on what to use as a maker's mark?
Hang on.
Yeah, Gerard said it has been on since the start of COVID. I think it might have been a little bit before even that.
Right, if you can afford one, I'm saying if you can afford one, I haven't got one yet. But if you can afford one, I would say get an electric branding iron. That's probably what I would go for. Oh, headset's fallen off.
I know a few years ago, Martin Saban Smith used to put like a pattern in the bottom of his bowls with a few lines and a bit of a texture. I don't know if he still does or not. I think Chris Fisher used to do the same as well.
I tend to sign the bottom of my pieces now with a pyro.
Yeah.
Right, there's a question here for the record power guys. Brian Green is saying, question, thinking of upgrading the lathe. What do you all think of the record power Coronet Envoy? Oh,
I've not got the Envoy, I've got the Herald.
I've never used the Envoy. I've used the Herald. That's the only one that I've used. Andrew's got the Regent, which is the one up from the Envoy.
Yeah,
And,
I've not used the Envoy either.
I've not
Yeah,
used
but-
the Envoy.
yeah, but what do you think of the Regent, Andrew?
It is the dog's doodads. In my
Jamie,
opinion.
Jamie,
They're a
what do
very
you
good
think of
lathe.
the
I've used
Herald?
one.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
They
It's
are very
choice.
good lathe.
The only issue I've got with the Regent, speaking to a couple of people, sorry Andrew if you disagree, is the Regent doesn't have the on-off button like the Coronet Herald has. It's just got the emergency stop button.
No, I do agree with that. I mentioned that to you as well, didn't I? That it is a bit of a downside to it because you are literally having to hit that stop button every time, and if you don't, take it out, you go start, you're losing time. It would be better if that control panel had a on-off button as well as an emergency stop.
Yeah, the Coronet Herald's got the on-off button and it's got the emergency stop button. I'm not sure if you can get it for the Coronet Regent and the Envoy, but the Coronet Herald you can also get an emergency stop button with like a magnetic thing that you can put anywhere on the lathe as well, like an extra add-on.
Yeah. I was looking at them at Harrogate because they said to me at Harrogate, well, we might be able to do something and put that in, and I thought, well, that's not bad. But it was the guy who hijacked my conversation that really it blew me away. He kept asking the same question over and over again, and I felt so sorry for the poor guy trying to sell the lathes.
Yeah.
Anita Wall's in. Hi, Anita.
Right, so that's been sanded to 400.
David
put
Woolley
him
says
in-
he uses for the bottoms of bowls. He uses the laser pecker. And he said that's
Mhm.
a lot better than him trying to pyrograph a design. Those laser peckers are fabulous, but
They
they're
are brilliant.
horrendously expensive.
Gonna say they are brilliant but expensive. But yeah,
I've put brushy
oh,
down. Did anybody see where I put it?
Behind your ear.
Where
On
the
the
hell
floor.
did I put that?
It's fell
I'll
in the
put it down
sawdust
there.
again, isn't it?
Yep.
6
No, it's
weeks
okay.
before we find it.
Put it on the wrong shelf.
Benjamin's in. How you doing, Ben?
Right, I'll just give this a clean up with some methylated spirits or denatured alcohol.
Reminds me, I need to get some of that tomorrow.
Jamie's got some.
I've only got about 5 litres though.
Oh no.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's it.
Where did you buy 5 litres?
Amazon for about £20.
Oh, I might have to do that. I've only got about 250 ml left. Mind you, I've got no work. I'm actually free for the rest of the week. I've got no work this week. Yay! I can play all I want this week.
How's it go, Mark? I'm free.
I'm free.
I'm free.
So that was sand and sealer I've put on there again. And whenever I'm using paints on the piece, I always tend to put sand and sealer on first because I find it acts like a primer. And as I'm not using Yorkshire grit on the top, what I'll do is just knock the sand and sealer back. Excuse me. Knock the sand and sealer back with an orange web brax pad, which has got the equivalent grit of around about 1200.
Can I just ask
10 watt
people in the
laser
chat?
set up.
Sorry, Jamie,
Sorry?
say that again.
I said I've got a 10 watt laser. I've still got to set up. That's up been sent.
Nice.
Can I just ask
What are you
people in
saying?
the chat, can we please stop talking about barbecue? Because all I've had to eat today is a bloody sandwich. I've been a bit
Wasn't a
busy.
full pork sandwich, was it?
No, it wasn't.
And now I'm using ebonizing lacquer, so I'll turn the speed down while I apply this.
Martin Ford is saying, sorry, he missed who was upgrading their lathe, but he upgraded to a Nova Galaxy. Great concept, but poor build quality in his humble opinion. Just saying.
All right.
Yeah,
I've heard that about the Galaxy.
I've seen those Novas. They don't look that well put
Is
together.
the Galaxy, any of the Novas, is that the ones with the direct drive?
Yeah,
rather
and the
than a
funny
belt drive.
touchpad and the funny touchpad control panel.
We used in the Novas at Maker Central, and they basically both fell apart at exactly the same time.
Yeah, they were a bit
Right.
problematic.
Lucy, I'm going off
Now,
you.
I said right at the start of the programme that Shug, I don't know if I did. A big shout out to Shug, by the way, because Shug went after the last week when I couldn't dry the piece with my hot air gun because it's broken. Shug went and bloody bought us one, didn't he?
And it's orange. How about that, Andrew?
It's orange.
How about that,
Right
Anita?
now,
It's orange.
What I'm going to
serious now.
show you now is
No, orange.
that I made. Now, this wasn't my idea. I got this idea from Mick Hanbury. I tend to get a lot of my ideas from Mick Hanbury. I'll show you the setup once I get it set up.
He sounds like a good lad, that Mick Hanbury.
Yeah.
Good ideas.
Overhead. Overhead. That's it. Right. So what I've got here, I've just got this. Take that off. So
I'm
I
not
can
even
show you.
joking.
All right, yeah,
What's
yeah.
that?
I'm saying the next person that mentions barbecue goes in timeout because we're all at it now.
Right. So
Barbecue
what
chicken.
I've got, this is just a piece of plywood. I've got a hole drilled in it to go for the tool rest to go through, and I've got a slot cut in it for the trigger, or the handle, I should say, of the hot air gun to go in. So the hot air gun just goes in like that. And just to make sure it's sitting level, I put a piece of scrap wood through the trigger area, turn it on to the lowest speed, and then turn the lid on. And what you've got there is the hot air being directed at the piece, so it'll not take very long to dry at all. It's
Right.
fairly controlled. You can move the tool rest backwards and forwards to get closer or farther away, or you can go away and make a cup of tea, something like that, and it's all good.
Wayne, Katie had a question. There you go.
That's it.
Wayne, what was
Yeah.
the point in putting sanding sealer on only to take it off again?
I didn't take it off. What I did was take off the excess, and what sand and sealer does, it actually raises the grain up. So what you need to do when you apply sand and sealer is use either a web racks pad to knock it back, or if you're using Yorkshire grit, use Yorkshire grit to knock it back, because that's an abrasive paste and that will knock it back. But what you're doing is that you're actually, when you're knocking it back, you're taking off all the furry bits that the sand and sealer is actually raised up in the grain.
Also known as
That's right.
denibbing.
Denibbing. Take
Hi,
that
Bonnie.
off.
Bonnie 1969's in.
Put that
Bonnie,
over
yeah.
there.
Bonnie.
Take that
Good year,
off
that. Same
there.
year I was born.
Put in my piece of plywood. Right. Now I'm going to try and show you two techniques here. The first technique is done actually off the lathe. Now, is that better with that one, or is it better with that one? That one, I
That one.
think.
Which is the technique that gives you the most chance of being covered with paint?
This one.
That's the one. That's the one we all want to see.
All right. Okay. Right. So.
I knowed I made a good choice.
Shoehorn that one in there, Jamie.
Right. What I'm doing, I'm just sorting out my Dremel Fortiflex. This is the one that is basically a motor with a flexi drive on, and it's foot. The speed is foot operated. Yep, that works. Right. Paints. I'm going to use Joe Sonia's. Let's see if I can find the ones I usually use. I'll not be able to, probably. Green.
Bonnie, don't buy into it. Don't do it, Bonnie. Don't do it. Mark's getting all upset.
I can't tell you the depth of my hatred at the moment.
Lionel's in. Hello, Lionel.
Gerard, mon Dieu.
Right, that's green. Joe Sonia's iridescence. And I'll use some gold as well.
Yeah, Rob from Kingsbury, he's the one that started it.
Yeah, you certainly did, Rob. It's all your fault.
Ford said, yes, it's direct drive and computer controlled. It had less than a year and the master circuit board had to be replaced. Luckily, it was still under guarantee. Otherwise, 600 plus. It didn't barbecue me, though.
I think the first company, certainly in the UK, that brought out a direct drive lathe. It was a company called Silver Drive back in the 90s. Oh, I put a bit too much on there. I wasn't supposed to do that.
Oh, good. I mean, oh dear, what a shame.
It's going to go everywhere.
It is
Wayne,
going
you're
to go
so gonna
everywhere.
get covered.
Oh, look.
Right,
It looks
so
like
what
a
I've done-
tadpole, Jamie.
Yeah,
does.
what I've done on the flexi drive, okay, I have getting how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you can see them there, can you? 5.
Yep.
5 very small cable ties, and I've just fastened them into the chuck. And now we're going to have a bit play.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Full face mask is needed for this.
We need some
Have I
music
got one
as
on?
well.
Of course you have.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. It's messy time. Don't mean line up.
That's awesome. Yes.
Zed's in. Hello, Zed.
There's it.
Hello, Zed.
How you doing?
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
Zed's gotta do this. Zed would do this with a chainsaw.
The thing is, if you go too fast, it goes out like a flaming helicopter. You don't get any effect. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
nice.
awesome.
That's cool.
Well, if it goes out like a helicopter, you're bound to lose it. I'm the wrong person. Nice, mate.
Oh, very nice.
Martin Boyd said,
Right,
get in there, Wayne.
Do you want to see the other technique?
Wayne, can you
Yeah,
just
cool.
show the can you just show the Fortiflex again, please? Because Katie didn't
Yeah,
see
the
it.
right, the Fortiflex. Basically, what the Fortiflex is.
No, you're on
Hang on a
split
minute, like
screen.
Oh, how did
You
you do
got,
that?
you got 2 cameras up there, mate. Yeah.
Right. What the Fortiflex is it's a motor, okay, that you can hang up. It's got the flexi drive on with a handle at the end with the Jacobs chuck in. So that's the Fortiflex made by Dremel.
Mm-hmm. And they're awesome.
It goes from 0 to 22,000 revs. So there we go. That's the piece.
Serious
Once all these colours are dried, they'll still look very creamy because Joe Sonia's iridescents do tend to be creamy coloured when they come out of the pot. But once they're dry, they will dry properly. But do you want to see the other technique?
Yes.
Yes.
And we don't think you're messy enough as it is. We all got
Scoosh.
far too excited by that one.
Scoosha.
Scoosh
There's
is
a
out.
chance for us to get even more excited by the next one.
Yeah, if you didn't splatter paint all over with the first method, then try the second method.
Oh, what you're gonna use the same blank?
Oh, I thought he was going to turn another bowl.
That's disappointing.
No, I'm not turning another bowl.
Jamie and I are on the same page here. Oh, see what I did there?
Bloody hell.
Like I said, this is a demo piece. I can do this with a demo piece.
Who do you think you are, Stuart Farini?
Joe Senior's just popped in. Oh, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Mark L said, well, we know there's no paint on the floor.
That's true.
Right.
There's no floor.
What I'm going to do first is, yeah, that's about right. I'm going to turn this at around about 220 revs. I may well use the drill for doing this one. Let's put this back up because this one's going to spread paint all over the place.
To be honest with you, there's no paint on the walls or the ceiling either. The sawdust stopped that as well.
Right, what colour is this? This is green. Just get some Dabbity dabs of green on.
Dabbity
Oh,
dabs.
camera!
Is that a
Camera!
new technical term?
Raise the camera up, mate. There you go. Camera.
You raise me up. Oh. That had to be done, Mark.
That's green. Violet.
Apparently, 2020 revs would be funnier, Wayne.
Yeah.
And with a bit more paint on it.
He does want
You
to
see that
redecorate
blue
his
line
house.
there?
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
That was from Saturday night, that blue line was.
See that blue line there, Woodwork Learner? You've just crossed it.
Stick some gold on as well.
Zed said he feels like he's watching one of those old cooking channels where the lady pulls another cake out the oven that's already cooked. Got one
Right,
over
what
here
I'll do
already
with this
prepared.
one, seeing as how I've already used the... In fact, no, I better use the Dremel on this one as well because I'm going to give it a mention.
Yeah.
Just get me foot switch organised.
Oh, Martin boy.
That's right. That's right, Martin.
Nice one.
That's right, Martin.
It's been mentioned.
Turn
That's
that
the whole
on.
point.
Now, right, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to use the drill.
He was frightened of getting covered in it then, Mark. Did you see it?
No, it's
Did
not.
Did
It's
you hear the
just
panic?
So the fear in his
the,
face then.
Yeah.
as soon as that speeds up too far, all the cable ties tend to flatten out. So I get a more controlled speed with this
Yeah.
drill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Wicked.
There you go.
Look at that.
Go all over his smock.
Yeah.
There
All
you
over
go.
the Dremel box.
Oh,
But look at that.
that is an interesting effect. I like that. I have Joe Sonia's paints.
Go from the centre to the edge in one motion. See what? Yeah. Yes. That works.
I have Joe Sonia's paints. I have a wood lathe, and I have access to copious amounts of cable ties.
That's nice.
That is
That
nice.
actually turned out better on the practice piece that I sent you the picture of earlier on.
Yeah. But this is different altogether. This is more abstract, more random.
Yo,
That's getting
they're
more
in.
of a spiral there.
Yeah.
Well done, Mark.
There we are. Bring that off and let you see it.
Nice.
Just in the process of reporting them all now.
I've done a report on one, mate. Zed said, just add fire and you have the perfect YouTube demo.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice. That's an interesting effect, that is.
Yeah.
The first one, I really, really like that idea. I'm going to,
what
have
I'm
a go
going
at
to do is bring the photo flex back in again and just have a bit of play with this
Camera.
while
Camera.
while the paint
Mhm.
while the paint's still wet.
Camera.
Yeah. It's not really doing a lot, is it? Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is. It's just getting it to that level where it's touching.
It's just applying just the right pressure so that the ends of the cable ties are in contact.
Mm.
You really sounded convinced then, Andrew.
I'm actually really enthralled in it. This is awesome.
Hi, Mats is in. Hello, buddy.
How you doing?
Hello.
And
Hello.
Lucy said it makes her think of looking at the stars through a telescope. And Gerard said, be careful, Artemis spaceship might think that we've discovered a new constellation. Yeah, man.
I like that.
Right. What I'm going to do is
I do like that.
I'm going to put that back on the lathe and just get it dried off a bit to see if the colours stand out a bit more. What I'll do tomorrow when I take the photograph, I'll have a bit play with the photograph so I can actually get the colours to stand out.
Katie's logging
Leave that
off,
out
but
for
Chris
you.
and her are still watching the TV. Good night, all.
Take it
Bye,
easy,
Katie.
Katie.
Good night,
See you
Katie.
later.
You mentioned telescope there. Andres would look for a telescope to see the ceiling.
Hey. Stop with it.
There's no need, Andrew, is there? No need.
Oh, yeah, there is.
These tall people, they just don't have these problems that we have, mate, do they?
No.
Shug, look. It's been christened.
Yay! It's been christened.
It's being
Chuck,
christened.
can I just point out, you're almost as tall as I am.
What are you on about? I'm only about 2 inches taller than Andrew.
1 inch, if that, and a hair.
Yeah, but it was a 4 foot high hair.
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh my word. You guys.
Hey, you guys!
Truffle shuffle.
Yeah, that's
Ben,
Shug.
Ben said it's a spirograph for wood turning. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, truffle
The other
struggle.
thing I could have done was actually shorten the length of the cable ties. That probably would have helped as well.
Yeah, Gerard's right. This is one thing you shouldn't show Brian with an eye. It might ruin his, in commas, clean workshop.
Clean workshop.
Oh dear. He'd probably have a fit, wouldn't he? That's right, Lucy. Real inches or man inches?
Real inches.
Oops. You just banged the camera there, Wayne.
Okay, no bother. I'll get that.
He knows it was just so he could show you his paint-covered smock.
Yeah. That works.
Right, that's pretty well dried. The little bits and bobs of white bits you can see there are still wet paint. A lot of this paint is actually mixed in together and gone a bit of a browny colour. The effect that I showed Jamie and Mark earlier on actually turned out a hell of a lot better than this. But what I'm going to do now, I'll just get this finished off. I'm going to put a border on to start off with.
Before you do that, Susie's got a question.
Yeah.
Do most people use the Joe Sonia iridescent paints, or would the Joe Sonia metallic paints also be recommended?
The metallic paints would be recommended, also the pearlescent as well.
Pearlescent,
You could
yeah.
you could just use ordinary acrylics doing this. You don't have to use the iridescence.
Oh, Wayne, you ruined it now. Start again.
See, this
Make it even.
see this bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this bit here is when I initially turned the top of this. There was a bit of a flat spot that I actually missed, and that's why that bit has come up there like that. So I'll just take that a bit deeper. Just see if that makes any difference. Which it
So
has.
Ben's asking, instead of cable ties, Could you use the tail feathers of a bold American eagle? And Woodwork Learner said, Ben, using feathers like that is what made them bold.
Chris from Bailey Woodworks. Chris from Bailey Woodworks has nailed it. It looks like an old chalkboard. Does.
Oh, yeah,
You know
when
when
it's
you
been
use all
put on and wiped off. Yeah,
then wiped off with a really rubbish board
yeah,
the teachers used to throw at people.
yeah, the ones with the wooden handles that hurt when
Yeah,
they hit you.
the ones that really hurt. Teachers used to go to university. They didn't used to learn how to teach. They used to learn how to throw.
And make sure that they hit you as well.
Yeah.
We used to have a woodwork teacher called Bliss who used to like to throw mallets. But he was so good at throwing mallets that one of these days he was going to kill someone because he would get it so close to you without actually hitting you, you'd hear it whistle past. Literally. So you knew to behave then. You know what I mean?
Ours was Mr. Flannery. He used to teach metalwork. He used to throw the board around it. Deadly. Jeez, he still works up at the school. Be careful. He does actually know me.
Yep, Doug Miller said, using eagle feathers will get you placed under the jail here in the US. I should think it would. That's if you manage to get away from the eagle. So I'm pretty sure he'd be a bit disturbed about it himself.
Okay, zombie wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zed wins. That's just crazy. Apparently, his teacher, when Zed's teacher used to throw nails at a spinning table saw, which would then impale the nails into the wall. He said it was to demonstrate how dangerous the machine.
What I used to do.
I think he was just trying to thin out the class.
Yeah, one by one.
What I used to do in the army when we got any of the young ones through who were absolutely useless at being mechanics was get a fair distance away from them and get a 1.5 pound ball peen hammer and skate it off the floor and see if you could hit the shins.
That's nasty.
It's good, but it's not right. Oh, Tim's throwing down the gauntlet there. He said, this is going to be a very pretty funnel, this one.
Jamie, have you fallen asleep?
No, I haven't.
Andrew probably wishes you did.
Yeah.
Well, normally when Jamie's quiet.
I was just thinking about the video of Shug on his bike. And then I remembered seeing Andrew on his bike.
There we are.
Oh, he's a wrong
one. You guys.
Hey, you guys.
Quickly get this sanded.
Was that a Boer War tail, Wayne? Oh dear.
Right, I'm just going to give this a sanded 240. That was a fairly decent finishing cut on there. I'll hand sand that bit, I think.
Gerard said, when we were young commie, older chefs were asking us about the machine to curl the parsley.
Oh Lord.
That's a bit like in engineering. We had a few. One of them was glass hammers, left-handed screwdrivers, but my favourite
Was a
was
long
either
stand?
that was a good one. We used that a lot, but there was a bucket of steam and a box of sparks for the grinder, and I sent a young lad with for a bucket of steam, and he went, "Where am I going to get one of them from?" And there was, luckily enough, there was a place around the corner that had like a steam vent. I don't know what it was for. Must have been for some kind of heating system. I don't know. But he went round the corner and tried to fill it up with steam, came back, and there was nothing in the bucket. And I went, "You've walked back holding the handle, haven't you?" I said, "With the bucket hanging below it." He went, "Yeah." I said, "Steam rises." I said, "It's just floating away." So then he went back round and came back with the bucket upside
You
down.
really? No, that's wrong. You're wrong, Huey.
I couldn't
Did you
help
ever
it.
send anybody? Did he ever send anybody for a sky hook to hold the bonnet up?
Yeah.
When I was an apprentice butcher,
Tartan
I
paint.
got sent with 2 buckets of blood from the drip trays in the butcher shop to the blood bank, which was a depository in the side wall of the bank at the high street. Yeah, that didn't work.
Right.
Proud Lloyd said never been the same since.
Our storeman was great because he knew most of them, and we had this cocky young lad one day, and he was going on and getting on everybody's nerves. So we said, "Look, go and see Graham in the stores, and can you get a long wait?" So he goes into the stores, knocks on the door, and Graham's in there, and he goes, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" He went. They've sent me from the drills to get a long wait. And he went, "Right, you'll have to bear with me a minute." He said, "I'm very busy." He said, "Do me a favour." He said, he was walking past him sort of thing. He said, "Do me a favour, go and stand over there." So he stood this guy in the corner, and he was such an angry guy, Graham was, you know what I mean? Always had this demeanour that he was angry, even though he weren't. And this kid wouldn't ask him. He wouldn't dare say anything. And after about 20 minutes, Graham went, "What are you doing there?" And he went, "I've come for a long wait." And he went, "I think your wait's been long enough." He said, "Now bugger off."
Bullring rings, elbow grease in the army. Yeah. I get a tub of elbow grease. Stores used to love that.
Yeah.
They stores used
Right,
to love
so I'm
that.
all I'm doing is just putting some microcrystalline wax onto the coloured part here. And very gently buff this.
Zed, that's wrong. He said when he worked at a fast food restaurant in high school, when the ketchup pump ran out, we would tell the new guys they had to refill it with the small ketchup packets.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh dear.
Mark L said, over here they'd send recruits to the motor pool for the cheap keys. I presume they didn't have any keys then.
No, they don't have
No,
keys.
they didn't. It was I think it was a
Push start on
foot
the
start
floor.
on the Jeeps.
Yeah, it was a push button start on the floor.
Yeah, push start on the floor. That was the. I think the Jeeps also had a foot push. Stupidly, right? I'll call it a parking brake rather than a handbrake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always laugh. The Americans actually call that the emergency brake. Like, no, you put it on all the time. It's just not for emergencies.
It'll be an emergency if you don't. You let it roll off.
There you go, guys.
Oh,
wicked.
yes, mate. That is nice.
That's, yeah.
Very nice, mate.
I'm going to
That
have a
is
go with
awesome.
that.
Zip ties are getting raided.
Sorry, Wayne, but I'm
Yeah.
stealing that.
Right, now the thing is, if you're using a drill, you can use bigger cable size, which will give you a different effect. It's just I had to use the small ones in the Fortiflex, and I couldn't put me well, state of my workshop. I couldn't put my hands on any bigger ones to use in the drill, so I used the small ones in the drill as well. But you don't have to use the small ones in the drill. You can use bigger ones. You can use other things. Andy suggested using some leather in the Dremel. What else could you could use loads of different stuff. You don't have to just use the cable ties. I just thought it was going to be a good idea, and I think it worked.
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
I think Andy Bundy Rose just taking the mic a little bit here because he says all blinker fluid for BMWs. Everybody knows BMWs don't have blinkers. Come on.
Nor does Mercedes.
When was the last time you seen one working?
Oh yeah, Woodturning with Barry got sent to the stores to get a bubble for the spirit level.
That's a good one.
So Mark, you could actually do that with the Axminster drive.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, with the new one, because you get a hell of a lot more things in there.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Donna's asking pipe thingies. You mean pipe cleaners? Yes, I bet you could use them.
Yeah,
Pipe
pipe cleaners.
cleaners.
Good. They might now have pipe cleaners still got metal in them,
Yes.
because they might actually scratch the base coat.
Yeah, good point.
Cleaners.
Yes, you can still get them. You
But
can
if
get them
you
in a load of.
bend them over.
You can get them in a load of craft
Yeah,
packs,
you could
Mark.
bend them over. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah, bend them
Plastic
over and
straws. The world is your oyster, but don't use oyster shells.
Mm-hmm.
The world is your oyster. I don't want it. I don't really like oysters. They're not very nice. They're chewy, a bit like rubber.
Thank you, Gerard.
Bonnie, it's a global problem.
In fact,
It's a global
thanks
problem.
to everybody that's made a nice comment.
It's awesome, mate.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I am.
That's
I've
worked.
probably right. What I probably should have done was use the use this effect before I tried to do the spiral. You know, if I'd stuck with the original one and just decorated off the lathe, I think that I should have probably stuck with that one rather than trying the one on the lathe. Because the first one that I did, the paint stood out more. So if you are going to have a go, I would recommend actually doing the decorating off the lathe rather than on it. But it's up to yourself. Cheers, Zed. Thanks for that. Zed made a nice comment.
That's a nice comment, Zed.
that is a nice comment.
I think actually both methods worked. Right.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Right.
I
And
like-
on that note,
I like the first
we have
one
got-
more. That's one I'm going to have a go at.
Yeah. So, and it actually leaves a little bit of texture on the piece as well. Doing that, even though this is had sand and seal and wax, it's still got some texture there as well with the paint.
Yeah.
Cool.
Grand.
Definitely
Right,
worth
guys,
having a go.
I'm going to call there because if you listen very closely, there's a bottle of wine shouting to be opened.
Wayne,
How
come
far
back
did
here.
Right. How far did the paint splatter?
Oh, great.
It
There's people that
probably
don't
went.
Where's that coming from?
Right. I've got it. The paint is on the handles of some of the turning tools over there. And I probably stopped some of the paint getting there, and it went about 6 foot the other way as well onto some stuff over there as well.
But this way, I live in Cornwall. I've got to go clean my bloody windows now.
And that was only with the lathe spinning at about 220.
I still think it should have been 2020.
No.
2020.
Woodwork Learner
But it-
suggested that. I think that was a
If
good idea.
you're looking for cable ties, Lidl's sell an assortment. I don't know if Ed Oliver still sells cable ties or not, to tell you the truth, because that was his business before he got into woodturning.
Rob
So he's
said,
got some lying around.
Rob said, I can see it now. Tomorrow, people reaching for their cable ties in work and they're gone. Oh,
Yeah.
I know there may be some wheel trims that are struggling to find them tomorrow. And I'm not
Right,
even
I'm
working
going to call
tomorrow,
it there,
so I may go
guys.
and get them.
And they're staying here.
Thanks everybody for coming in and watching what I do on a Wednesday night. You must all be mental. Thanks to my earworms for keeping me up to date with what's going on in the chat and putting the questions out to us. I will be back. Oh, let's see. Andrew's got a premiere on at 9:30. After this, so he's got a premiere on. Brian will be on, I think, tomorrow at 7. Or is he doing a
Yes.
lunchtime?
I don't know anymore.
Oh no, neither do I. Tell you the truth,
Uh,
I think he's on at 7.
He's on tomorrow.
I think he's on. He's on tomorrow. I don't
Yeah,
know if Scott's doing
I
another-
think it's 7 because he's gone earlier now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone earlier. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if Scott's
Yeah.
got a live tomorrow
he's
or
going
not.
earlier.
I'll be back on Friday lunchtime. Saturday we will have Saturday morning cartoons at 4 p.m. Also, if you are a Patreon of Jake's Patreon will be on at 6:30 UK time, and I'll be back on Saturday night. Sunday, there'll be
Don't
Steve
forget,
on at
people.
1 o'clock
Thumbs up,
UK time.
comment down below.
Jamie, if you are, Jamie's Patreon is on at 5. Jamie,
Yep, that's right.
at 5 on Sunday afternoon, and then both Jamie and I will have premieres out on Sunday night, 10:30 and 11 o'clock, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Right, I'm going to call that now. I've given you all the news. Thanks everybody for coming along again, and I am going to hit the button. The button's